is up and welcome to build mode. So today we're going to do a little bit of a different video than we've done before. This was actually requested by Chris, who is my fiance, if you guys don't know. He's been playing The Sims 4 a lot more recently. He's a big Sims 3 fan, so we've been trying to coax him over to the dark side. So we brought him over to The Sims 4 and he's been building, and he's kind of struggling a little bit. Building for The Sims can be very, very hard. So I figured I'd give a big tip of something I just learned and something that I think can be confusing for everyone as well. So I figured today we would talk a little bit about debug and what exactly that does for your gameplay. So I'm going to start off this video by showing you how to use the bb.moveObjects cheat. It doesn't really have anything to do with debug, but I feel like it's an important thing to know, especially when you are using debug with some weird objects that don't necessarily naturally fit into the game. So, what you're going to do is you're going to hit Control-Shift-C to open your little command bar. This is where you type all your cheats in. It's a really easy thing to use, and it makes me feel like I'm a super smart hacker. So, you just type bb.moveObjects, and it turns it on. You can turn it off the same way, and then you close your command bar, again, Control-Shift-C. So now I can move this literally wherever I want. Granted, there's some limitations, and if I go to size it up, like, it gets a little weird. But in theory, I can do whatever I want with it. You can move it up here, over here. I can even use my 9 key to shift it up, or my 0 key to shift it down. Now keep in mind that you have to use the 9 and 0 key on your the top level of your keypad of your keyboard. You cannot use the numpad. It won't work. I don't know why, but that's just how it is. So that is move objects. It's super useful for things, for example, these pillars that I placed here. You apparently couldn't place them without using move objects, so I had to do it for that. And then also, if you go into the upstairs of the house, if I could zoom out, some walls are placed a little strange, like they're crossing windows. And so the windows look good from the outside. It's a little weird from the inside, but it lets you place things so they fit a little better. And you can kind of force objects to be friends. So I use it a lot to make desks. So I'm going to go into the dining room, table, take the one from university. I like to take this and make it into a gaming desk. And I just squish two together. And this way they like slip inside of each other. However, if I had it turned off, it doesn't let me. So it gives you a little bit more wiggle room with what you can do in terms of placing objects. Now, let's just get to the point of being here. So, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about debug today. For those of you who do not know, debug is essentially a cheat that gives you access to using items in the game that aren't technically in your build and buy catalog. This could include the trees in the background that aren't necessarily in your landscaping thing, and various items in the game as well. I like to use it for building more eccentric things in The Sims, or just for the small details that we can't really get outside of the game. I also use it to cheat with things such as like the Nifty Knitting Pack, where you can get all your knittables without actually having to sit there and wait and build your knitting skill up. So if you really just want that super cute knitting rug, you can just use your debug and you can get the knitting rug. So how do we access it? So you're going to go into your cheat command again, so Control-Alt-C, and do bb.show hidden objects. And then we're also going to do bb.show live edit objects. And our catalog expanded a little bit down at the bottom. I don't know if you saw it. So then you go into your little search bar. I don't know how many of you use your search bar. I use it all the time. And you start to type in debug. And you're going to click the first thing that pops up. And this kind of brings you to your main debug items. You can find them through scrolling through the catalog, but this is a good way to see everything that you get. So this really kind of gives you everything that you don't already have in the game. For example, you can get some fencing that you can't get in fencing. Like power wires and stuff like that. And you get some other things. Now, one of the big perks to debug, and this is why one of the big perks to debug, and this is why Little Simsy uses it a lot in her videos if you watch her. She says that she's going to use debug for landscaping because you have trees and things, but you don't have to pay for them. So that's what I started using debug for. And there's some things that I keep saying that we just don't have. For example, this hanging planter is my favorite thing. I just hang them up here on the porch. You use the little move objects sheet like I showed you guys in the beginning. And you have these cute little hanging plants that you couldn't have before. And they didn't cost you anything to place them. We also have planters and things like that, again, that are free and you don't have to pay for them. So when you're doing budget builds and you still want everything to look nice, you can just use debug to spice things up a little bit. And this goes as far as bushes and hedges and plants and trees. You've got so many options for what you can and can't add, and a lot of them you don't have in your catalog already, so it adds some different colors and varieties and things like that. So it expands upon your building abilities without breaking the bank. Sounds like a win-win to me. Now, like I said, I like to use debug for my more creative builds, so there's some funky things in here that you don't have in the regular game. So let's scroll on down. I'm going to show you. So, for example, let's say you went into Oasis Springs and you really wanted to build like a little town or like a set. Like you're super into taking some screenshots and you want a nice house, but you don't feel like building one. Pain in the ass, I know, and you don't want to download something off the gallery. You can literally get an entire actual house off of debug. You cannot go in it, it's non-functional, but if you want to stand outside and you take screenshots, there you go. Debug's got your answer. I just wanted to see what this was. Row of hedgies. Cool. You also have cupcakes and food, which is really useful if you decide to use Get to Work and you want to make cafes and restaurants and all of that, but make it kind of look lived in and used. We have coffee cups and cupcakes and things like that, which really change things in the game, at least from my perspective. Getting there. So I like to use Windenburg as the best example because we have some pretty eccentric pieces. So if you really wanted to build a castle and you're like, damn, The Sims just isn't doing it for me, we actually have these ruiny pieces that came with Get Together. Like, these are so cool. And they definitely add to any build. Granted, they look a little weird with my suburban house that I have set up right here. But they're so interesting and so cool. And give you a little more freedom to make some things in the game. You also have walls and stuff like that. Now, I know that we have walls in the game, but do we have curved walls? I don't think so. Do we have a matching straight wall so we can make it work? I don't think so. So, like I said, it gives you things to add to the game and little like hedges and stuff that you didn't have. I keep talking about these plants, but to me that's a real big appeal of this whole entire thing. Another benefit to debug is that it offers you cars. If I can find a car, I will show you. So, you know how everyone's like, oh, there's no cars in The Sims 4. Well, that's a whole other discussion for a whole other time. But the big solution is some people just like the aesthetics of the cars, so they take the toy car out of the little statue section and they just size it up. But if you pick a car out of debug, it's already sized up for you as to how big it should be, and you get a little bit more car variety as to what you can have. So instead of the 3 cars that you have in your statue option, you have at least 10 different vehicle options that you can use, and I definitely think that that is a benefit. So, going on down the list, you get some pretty eccentric things, like I said. Like, if you really just want to put a yacht or a boat in your front yard, you can. I don't know why you would want to, but you are now given the option. This little sign, it's super cool if you're making, like, a seaside restaurant. So go ahead and use it. If you're super weird like me and you're into making cemeteries, we've got all types of headstones for you to use, and even little monuments for pets and stuff like that. It changes the game completely. You have all these different types of things to use, and it's so cool. So if you're a really creative builder and like you just build and you don't care about functionality, because majority of the things in Debug are not functionality, then you could definitely have fun exploring in here. I think you could have fun regardless, and you should always check it out at least once, I would argue. Like literally, it's a whole truck. And like, this is so cool. Like, this is just cool to me, alright? But yeah, you have all these things that you now have access to. There are swords, there's wands, all this stuff from Realm of Magic. You have the brooms and the wands that I'm not necessarily sure how you acquire them because I've never played Realm of Magic properly. But you can have them now. So if you really want to make a wand shop, or like I made a little spellcaster's house and they had wands on the wall, you can use Debug to get these things that you couldn't have before. If you want to make a bookshop, they have stacks of books. And I'll show you how to find that actually. So I go into my search bar, and if you type books and just pick text to search, not one of the options they give you, you get these little stackable books that come in Debug. I'll size it up so you can see it. Which is perfect for any type of bookshop type build or library or anything like that. So it's really the small things and the details of it all. And Debug things can also be found in your regular catalog. So if I wanted to go in and filter by Nifty Knitting, here's a poof that you have to make while you knit. But with Debug, you don't have to do that. It's right here for you to use. So that's pretty exciting. And the same applies for there's beds in Eco Lifestyle, like all the things that you have to make with the furniture maker. You don't need to do that. It's all here for you at your disposal using the bb.show hidden objects and the bb.show live edit objects. So, like I said, this was just a quick little short video. I just wanted to kind of explain it because I know that watching Little Simsy videos where she talks about using debugs for plant, it always sounded like a whole other world to me and I didn't understand it. So I wanted to help you guys understand. And I might do some more building type tips later on. Chris has asked me to, and some stuff in CAS as well with like just helpful little fun tips. So comment down below if you have any fun building tips or things that you just found out that I should know. Like this video and go ahead and subscribe if you want more building tips and sim stuff and some other fun gaming content. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now. Thanks for watching.